Hello, welcome to the Shoegays podcast. I'm your host, Luca, and this is the first segment. During this podcast, I'm going to be explaining about the shoegaze genre. Shoegaze emerged in Ireland and the UK back in the late 90s, the late 80s to early 90s. Its name originates from guitarists staring down at pedals whilst performing. And it was unfortunately wiped out by American grunge and Britpop in the early 90s. So I'm just going to quickly speak more about the pedals. So shoegaze is quite fuzzy, and the guitars and vocals are quite distorted, so guitarists would tend to have a lot of pedals on the floor, and they'd be playing their guitars and they'd just be staring at the pedals to make sure what they were doing. The first band I'm really going to be talking about is Slowdive. Slowdive holds like a very special place for me. This band means a lot. So Slowdive have like 5 like quite memorable and popular albums that I'd say. So Just for a Day came out in 1991. Slovaki came out in 1993. I can't. Pygmalion came out in 1995. The self-titled album Slowdive came out in 2017, and Everything Is Alive came out in 2023. They do have more albums and EPs, but these are like the ones that they are more well known for. The band consists of Rachel Goswell on vocals, guitar and keyboard, Neil Halstead on vocals and guitar, Christian Saville on guitar, Nick Chaplin on bass guitar, and Simon Scott on drums. The album that I'm really going to talk about the most here is their album Souvlaki, their 1993 album. And Souvlaki was created at the end of Rachel and Neil's relationship. There are songs on this album to kind of show that. Unfortunately, Souvlaki didn't really do too well when it first came out, but shoegaze fans just went fucking wild for that shit. So I'm gonna go over a couple songs from the album, like 4 songs particular. Dagger, Allison, 40 Days, and When the Sun Hits. Dagger is about a fucked up relationship, most likely Neil and Rachel's relationship. Allison is about a drug-fueled dream about a girl called Allison. Back when the band was called the Pumpkin Fairies, before they were called Slowdive, they went on tour, and one of Rachel's friends that was touring with them was called Allison. I don't know whether this is the same Allison that is mentioned in the song, but it's possible. 40 Days was written and recorded 2 weeks after Neil and Rachel's breakup. Neil said that it was about being miserable, and a lot of slow dive stuff was about atmospheres and was about creating cinematic moments. I really like this song due to its distorted guitars and the way that the song is. It's perfection. When the Sun Hits, if you follow any of my previous projects from last year at college, you probably would have seen my FMP for last year. As I chose this song for my Erodia cosplay music video, when I listen to this song, I feel a sense of loss and love and not wanting your partner to leave or to lose them. They're the one that you love so much. And when it comes to this album, I think that evaluation makes a lot of sense, as these songs are about Neil and Rachel's relationship. So you probably would have heard earlier on when I was struggling with my wording there, I have a friend with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm William, and I'm Luca's good friend, and I can actually talk English.
So essentially, I keep kicking you.
It's fine.
Essentially, what I'm gonna ask Will to do is I'm going to show them some slow dive songs, and when it comes to editing this, I'm going to just put in a little snippet of the song and
my opinion.
and ask your opinions and thoughts and feelings on the song, if that's alright.
That is perfectly fine. As if I'm gonna say no.
Too late.
It's too late. It's too late to say right now.
Alright, so So the song I'm going to show you is off the new album, Everything Is Alive. This album came out in September, I think, so fairly recently. The song is called A Life, and it's just a very, very nice song. Alright, so that was A Life by Slowdive off their 2023 album Everything Is Alive. What were your initial thoughts on the song as a whole?
Well, bear in fact that I've never listened to anything like this before. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna turn on Spotify later and listen to it. I like how, how it's the voices are almost distorted, and it's you can only just hear the words and understand what they're saying.
That's quite a common thing with shoegaze.
I love it. I don't know. I love it. I don't know what else to say. It's good. I like the music as well. It's one of those types of music where you can just turn the lights off, put your headphones on, stare up at the ceiling, and just listen.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs.
Did you have any particular feelings when listening to that song?
I got a sense of nostalgia, almost. It's it's just a wave of nostalgia, and I instantly felt calm as well listening to the song.
Alright, do you mind if I show you one of the songs off their 93 album, Slavlaki?
No, I do not mind. At
Okay,
all.
so I'm gonna show you Allison by Slowdive from the 1993 album.
Are you sure it's 1993? Are you sure? You stumbled a bit.
I said 90 instead of
1993.
Anyway, yes, this is Allison by Slowdive. Alright, so that was Allison by Slowdive. What were your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. It's like the song. It's about substance abuse, isn't it? Kind of.
No, that was the song that was about a drug-fueled dream.
Oh. Still, it sounds a bit like substance abuse.
Yeah.
But it's a good song. I do like that song as well. Not as much as I like the what is it, Alive? That one. I like that one. That one's also good. I like the melody of it, like the music.
I think Souvlaki has like a lot more like Everything Is Alive is I'd say is also like a shoegaze album,
Mm-hmm.
but Souvlaki is more shoegazy rather than Everything Is Alive. Like it's got a lot more of the distorted vocals, the melancholic feelings, distorted guitars, stuff like that.
Yeah. Just makes you feel stuff that's like you've not really felt.
Yeah.
It just comes out, grabs it, takes it from your soul and brings it out.
Is there any particular emotion that song made you feel?
I don't know, kind of like sad, but like for the people in the song instead of being sad yourself.
Yeah. My thoughts when I listened to Allison, a little bit of backstory. I don't remember much of my childhood, yippee.
Me too.
This is what it is. But some things I do remember were growing up in the house that I did with my nan, my two aunts, and my granddad and my mum. And with this like big black German Shepherd who was as soft as anything. So that song just sort of reminds me of them days when I was a tiny 5-year-old running around causing chaos and
tiny little gremlin.
Yes. You think I'm a gremlin now? Well,
wait until you see my childhood. Same here.
But yeah, like they're two very different albums, I'd say.
You can tell.
Like Souvlaki comes from a time where the band members were going through a lot. They were going, like, I think Rachel and Neil have been friends since childhood. I don't think I mentioned, but Slowdive got their name from a Susie and the Banshees song called Slowdive. I will put a little insert here.
Thank you. Nice little insert right there.
And yeah, so they got the name from a Susie and the Banshees song. I love Susie and the Banshees.
Whoa.
Whoa. Such a surprise. Such a surprise. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about Slowdive. They're from Reading in Berkshire.
Some good shit.
Yeah.
Some good shit.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shoegays, like, especially if you like listen to a different band called the Cocteau Twins, Elizabeth Fraser uses Gaelic, French, and English, and she tends to use her voice as like more as like an instrument rather than actual vocals.
So kind of like a cappella.
No.
Kind of.
No.
She's using it for music. Kind of, but not really. Because obviously
Yeah.
there is still instruments.
Yeah. Kinda.
But not really.
Kinda, but not really.
Don't argue with me on this. Also, I accidentally kicked you back, but that's kind of payback for you kicking me like 3 times. I got my revenge.
So there's like other bands that I would love to mention on this podcast, but unfortunately I don't have enough time and my project's due tomorrow.
Procrastination. Procrastination gets you. I can relate with that. Jesus
There's
Christ.
like other bands that I really would love to mention, so I'm just gonna mention them here.
Long list.
LSD and the Search for God were Panchico. You should go see Panchico live. They're really good.
Whoa.
Panchico, follow me on Instagram.
Round of applause for Luca.
Yeah, Were is quite good. Wisp are also quite good. Julie, they're like a more recent shoegaze band. So is Panchico. I'd say so is Panchico. They've only really like gained popularity in the last like 3 years because someone found their music in Oxfam shop. A little bit of backstory. Wow. Someone found their CD in a Oxfam shop, put it on 4chan and was like, hey, does anybody know who this is? And they managed to like trace it back to like the record company. And they were like, hey, this is Panchico, like, you know, this is here where you can contact them. So Panchico then put their stuff on like stuff like Bandcamp and Spotify and stuff.
But they're like, yippee, finally recognition, let's go.
Yeah, but yeah, Owen from Panchico is a lovely guy. So is Andy. He's also very lovely, and the rest of the members from Panchico are super nice.
Well, of course they are. They follow you on Instagram.
And who else? Galaxy 500 are also pretty cool. I wouldn't know if I was to put them in like shoegaze, but
Sounds like a phone brand.
they're also cool. Jesus and the Mary Chain are also really good. So yeah, if you like stuff like the Cocktail Twins and My Bloody Valentine, Slow Dive, give them bands a listen, because they're really funky. But
Goofy,
I also
silly, funky.
need to start the second segment, so I'm going to end this segment here. Thank you for being on the podcast.
You're welcome. It's not like I was kidnapped or anything to be here.
And I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Alright. Welcome to section 2 of the Shoegays podcast. I'm here with my tutor, George Hughes.
Hello, Luca.
And during this section of the podcast, I'm going to be talking about another band called My Bloody Valentine. George, have you listened to this band before?
I have listened to My Bloody Valentine. However, what I'm slightly ashamed of is that I can't remember the name of their very famous album.
Loveless.
Is it Loveless?
Yes.
I'm just
Are
gonna.
you on about the pink one?
I'm on about the pink one.
Loveless.
Yes, I have listened to that, and it is very, very good. I will let you continue there, Luca. Sorry.
So what I have done with my other guests on the podcast is I have shown them a song by the band, and I have asked them to give me their thoughts and opinions on said song. Is that alright?
Of course it is.
Alright.
Of course it is.
So essentially how this works is I'm going to pause the recording,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to give it a couple seconds just for editing, and then I can...
Cool. That's good.
Alright, so you said you listened to Loveless, right?
I have. You'll have to remind me of of the song.
Alright, so this song is called When You Sleep by My Bloody Valentine. It's probably the most popular song out of the lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, here it goes. Alright, that was When You Sleep by My Bloody Valentine. What's your thoughts on that song?
Yeah. So obviously, so it's been a long time since I've listened to that album. But I do remember really enjoying it as a shoegaze fan. Yeah, it's a great song. I think what is really cool about shoegaze music is the fact that it all kind of like the vocals, all of the music, it all kind of blends into one almost, and I kind of like that. Yeah, it's a great song. Really good. I think personally, what I enjoyed the most about it was just that almost kind of like sort of grungy sound to it, you know what I mean? That kind of like, that sort of distortion almost in it. I think I really liked it. In contrast with the lyrics, yes, they sort of blend in, but they're not. They are kind of quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost quite mellow in a way. I don't know if that's right, but that's kind of like my interpretation of it. And I think those two things combined together are obviously quite synonymous of shoegaze anyway, but yeah, really, really cool. And great song.
Do you have like any particular feelings you get when you listen to that song, or?
I think naturally, yes. I mean, naturally, I think when you listen to a song like that, I think if you take out of, if you kind of don't think about obviously the name of the album, whatever, or I think you get sort of feelings where you think about, you know, people that may or may not be in your life now, you know, whether that be friends or, you know, partners, that kind of thing. I think there's something quite romantic in a way about that music to an extent, but perhaps maybe more in a like nostalgic kind of way, you know, where you think about the past, and perhaps not all of it may be good, but I think they're the sort of feelings that it kind of conjures up really for me, yeah.
That's interesting.
Thank you.
Do you have like a, obviously you've said that you're like a shoegaze fan. Do you have like any particular like favorite band or anything like that?
Yeah, great question. So the two that stick out for me, I know I've spoken to you about these bands off air, shall we say, but I love Cocktail Twins. I love Heaven or Las Vegas. Great, you know, it's great. Cherry Coloured Funk, you know, great. All the songs on that album are really good.
They're very beautiful.
Yeah,
Together, so
definitely. And her just reminds me, Luca, please, of the singer. That's it. Yeah. So her voice, I think, is very distinctive in that album in particular, because she's obviously speaking in like, you know, like you can't really understand her almost, but it works. The fact that they use like a drum machine is really interesting. I think it's a fantastic album. And then the other album for me, well, the other band for me, Deer Hunter, their album Harlequin Digest. They are American, but I think that album is one of my favourite albums, and it is like, it's just brilliant. Really, really good. Really worth listening to. I love it. I got it on record not about a year or two ago. Yeah. So for me, those two bands really are right up there for me. Not only in terms of shoegaze, but just kind of in general, I would say.
Going back to the Cocktail Twins, when I first listened to them, I was like, this is quite Enya-like.
Yes, yeah, I can see what you mean, yeah. Yeah.
Quite a bit like Enya in a way.
Yes, I can see that.
Like Enya and Elizabeth Fraser's vocals, sometimes Enya can't really be, what's the word, coherent?
Yeah, almost like understood, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd agree.
and the same could be said about the Cocktail Twins as well. Like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of memes online of like, what are the Cocktail Twins saying? And,
Yeah. No, I agree, because I remember, God, this would have been a few years ago now, when I first heard them. I think the first ever song I heard by them was Cherry Coloured Funk. And I remember then looking at the lyrics to that song. And I was like, I literally don't know what she's saying.
Beatles and eggs.
And then even when I was reading the lyrics and listening to the song, I was still like, I still wouldn't know that that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point, almost, in a way, of, it's like, that's part of what shoegaze is, really. And I do like that. I think if you were to even like Pitch the Baby, that's a great song, you know.
50-50 Clown.
Yeah, was it Ice Blink Look or something?
Yeah.
That's one of my favourites from that album. I think it'd be really cool to listen to that album in full. It's like start to finish in like a real like amazing sound space. I think that would be, I'd love that, to be honest. That'd be really cool. I would love to do that. Yeah, that would be really fun.
Obviously, we've discussed the Cocktail Twins quite a bit.
We have.
This segment was intended for my bloody.
It was. We took quite the diversion there, Luca, didn't we? Apologies.
What's your? I don't know if I asked, but what's your thoughts on My Bloody Valentine as like a band?
Well, I think obviously they're a very iconic band, aren't they? You know, for kind of what they've kind of output. I mean, admittedly, you know, I'm certainly not someone that's going to sit here and pretend like I know loads of their stuff because I don't really. But I think, other than, you know, I think Loveless is again a great album. I think I'm going to have to listen to that album now after this, which I probably will do. But I think obviously it's one of the most famous albums, Loveless, isn't it? You know, probably ever, or to an extent, in that sort of genre.
One of the most popular albums of the 90s.
Yeah. So I think, you know, obviously quite a pioneering force behind music probably in general, to be honest with you. But yeah, like I said, admittedly a band I don't know, you know, too much other than Loveless. So definitely, having listened to the song we just have, something to dive back into, and then listen to some of their other discography as well, which I think I will do.
They have a song. They have 2 albums and two EPs, and they merged it into one. It's called the Strawberry Wine and Ecstasy, and they basically merged the 2 albums and called it Ecstasy and Wine. There is a song on Ecstasy and Wine that isn't actually on any like streaming platforms. You can only find it on YouTube, and it's called Please Lose Yourself in Me, and it's just such a beautifully pieced together song, and it's great. The recording of it is really low quality, but I can't justify spending £300 on a vinyl.
No, I think obviously there is a fine line, isn't there? I get that, yeah. No, I think obviously, you know, that's the great thing about, you know, I think, you know, music in general, because it is so, like, universal.
Versatile.
And universal in the sense that, you know, you can get 2 people that have completely different interests. I'm not necessarily saying that's us, by the way, just in general, that then have such a passion for artists and certain music, and that is really like such a great thing, I think, personally, you know. Without a doubt. So
to be fair, I'd say like a lot of the stuff that we listen to is fairly similar.
yes, I'd agree. Yeah,
I think like one of the first things that I ever said to you was like, "Hey, is that a Smiths poster?"
that's an original Smiths poster, Luca. My dad literally bought that after the gig when he saw the Smiths in Liverpool in 1985. So yeah, it is, and I do love the Smiths. I've got a lot of their records just because my dad had them, and obviously they're a very different band to My Bloody Valentine. Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, yeah, no, he is. But yeah, just because he likes the Smiths. Yeah, no, but obviously I grew up on the Smiths and like the Beatles because that's what my dad listened to, you know. So I think obviously my sort of music background comes from a large extent thanks to my dad. You know, I think that happens with a lot of people. Not always the case, obviously, but I think, you know, I would, you know, hopefully if I were to ever have children, which I currently do not, then I would want to, you know, introduce them to stuff like that, because I think it's just, you know, if I, basically, again, we're going off on a tangent here, if I was the Prime Minister of the country, I would ban chart music.
We'll go Britpop.
I would ban maybe not Britpop, but I would definitely ban chart music because it's so bad. You know, I don't know how people listen to it. I just don't understand it. Like,
to be fair, like a lot of it is just like incoherent and chatty.
I just can't literally. It baffles me. So that's what I would do. I'd maybe spare Britpop for the football hooligans and there's a few Britpop songs I do like, but on the whole, I'm not a fan. I much prefer, well, my kind of passion is sort of electronic music. But then obviously I love rock and, you know, shoegaze and I love ambient music as well. That's a big passion. But yes, anyway, I'm digressing again. Apologies.
Going back to what you said about like what you listened to, like what your dad brought you up on. I think I spent a lot of time with my nan growing up. My nan was probably closer to me than my mum.
Yeah.
She listened to like a lot of Amy Winehouse and
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac and that. And I love Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
There's just, I think the things that we listen to growing up can kind of stick with us.
Oh yeah.
My mum listened to like a lot of Scuzz and Kerrang. She'd always have them channels on.
Yeah.
Whilst I was growing up, so like
Yeah.
a lot of the new metal, like Limp Bizkit and
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if you should classify Korn as new metal, but like Korn, Disturbed,
Yeah.
Shinedown, Slipknot, Once Against, Hailstorm, all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has a massive influence on you growing up, without a doubt, because you're very impressionable as a child anyway, you know, so the music you listen to, chances are you end up liking that as you get older, you know. That was very much, like I said, you know, Dad was very much the Smiths and the Beatles, Bob Marley as well, and Ziggy Marley as well. That kind of stuff was what he would always listen to. Wilco, who I went and saw with my mum and dad not long ago in London, which was great. You know, my mum was going to Rock City when she was like 14, you know, without her mum and dad knowing, my grandparents, and listening to, or watching whoever it was at the time, you know. You know, so there's two sides of it. Like the rock kind of stuff probably comes from my mum. You know, I love Black Sabbath and Queens of the Stone Age, that kind of thing, you know. And they're two kind of different bands really in terms of genre, but like, you know, that sort of, the rock side of things definitely probably came from my mum, and because my dad doesn't really listen to that, and vice versa really, so yeah. Sorry, I stopped at a very bad time there, Luca, when you were drinking your Coke, so I do apologise.
It's fine. Alright, well, thank you for being on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure.
And I hope you have a great day.
You too.